Since its appearance on the scene in 2017, cryptocurrency exchange ecosystem Binance has grown exponentially. The company has developed location-specific platforms in a growing number of countries across the earth and seems to be only continuing its expansion. Now, Binance is stepping into the UK market with plans to launch an exchange that is specifically built for Old Blighty later this summer. Recently, Finance Magnate spoke to Binance's UK director, Teana Baker-Taylor, who is charged with overseeing the development of Binance's presence in the UK, as well as overseeing the exchange's operations after its launch. Previously, Teana was the executive director of Global Digital Finance, an industry advocacy body that fosters discussion on global policy and governance for crypto and digital assets with policymakers and industry participants. She also served as the chief marketing officer at CoinFloor and was HSBC's global head of client strategy, global liquidity, and cash management for several years. Finance Magnate spoke with Teana about Binance's vision and goals for its development in the UK, the challenges along the way, and how Binance is working to target and onboard first-time crypto users. I'm Rachel McIntosh, and this is FMTV.
First of all, I want to officially thank you for coming onto the podcast. I'm really excited that you're here.
Oh, I'm delighted to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. So, obviously, I know who you are, but can you tell our listeners a little bit about who you are, what you specialize in, and how you arrived in this position at Binance?
Sure. Today I am the UK director for Binance. Previously, I led a crypto asset advocacy group or a members association, working with regulators and policymakers on helping to align cross-jurisdictional regulatory regimes and policies, and hoping to work on embedding new fit-for-purpose regimes where they're applicable. And then prior to that, I worked for another crypto exchange for a period of time. And then before getting into crypto, I was in transaction banking, primarily in the payments space. So a lot of similarities around payments and crypto. So always in the finance part of crypto itself. But that's kind of my background in a nutshell. I joined Binance in May of this year, and really excited to help champion a completely new local market strategy for the UK, and influencing the European strategy as well in some of our key markets. Binance is really focusing on providing markets with a bespoke experience that's a little bit more tailored to that market than perhaps your general average, global exchange might provide kind of a one type of experience for all. We're looking to tailor that by market. So that's what my role is in a nutshell. It means I focus on our UK market strategy, new business opportunities and partnerships, so business development, as well as operations, regulatory affairs, government affairs, etc. So we'll be launching a new exchange in the UK later this summer, and I will oversee the operation of that as well.
That is so exciting. Oh my God. So
yeah,
talk to me a little bit about this tailored experience. What does that mean for the average user in the UK? How is Binance building this exchange for users in the UK?
Sure. So the tailored experience really comes from looking at the way that UK consumers digest or interact with financial services and crypto specifically. So it's really catering that experience to some of the way that maybe challenger banks and fintechs have approached, a mobile first experience, where we're working on our mobile first strategy. We're looking at simplifying the onboarding process and the ways in which you can participate in the space. So not just having a one type of order book experience for everyone, but really tailoring the ways that you can, purchase and hold or trade across a more advanced trading platform, both. So if you are new to crypto, or you are more in that buy and hold mentality, you're looking for kind of a more simple interface to be able to just go online, buy what you want, stick it in your wallet, and get on with your life. And I think that whilst having those really sophisticated trading tools are important for a big part of the market, there's also a big part of the market that just wants to participate but doesn't necessarily want to trade. So I think from a Binance.com perspective, we offer a whole suite of services that range from savings and staking and trading. So Binance UK will be very focused on that spot trading experience on day one, and then we'll look to build that out as the appetite in the UK is better understood. So I think that's probably the second differentiator is Binance is known for developing features and services based on customer demand. So we have a really strong relationship with our users. Everyone from our CEO, down to our customer service, our business development, our compliance team interacts regularly with our customers, and our CEO CZ is quoted as saying that a number of the things that we have brought to market have been at the request of our users. So we're really taking that approach also with the UK exchange, asking the community, what they'd like to see, what token pairs they'd like to have, what should be on our future roadmap. So hopefully we are iterating our offering and our features in real time with our customers.
Okay, so as this exchange gets launched later this summer, it continues to grow. According to customer demand, what is the ultimate goal for Binance, particularly in the UK, provided that everything goes as well as it should?
Yeah. So I think, Binance would like to be the number one exchange in the UK, the most sought after exchange. We'd like to be the first stop for any crypto newbie to learn about the space. We'd like that access to be very simple and easy for them to learn and understand about crypto assets and purchase them, all the way to our sophisticated traders in the space, providing some tailored and sophisticated trading tools for those customers as well. We are known in the industry already for offering incredibly low fees. So, we hope that kind of tailored experience, coupled with our ability to really work with our vendors and partners to get fees down, so that we can offer the lowest fees in the market, will be a differentiator.
Okay, and I love how earlier you said that there's a part of the market that wants to participate but doesn't necessarily want to trade, and that maybe that's those are the people that Binance is sort of interested in at the moment. So what does that look like in the UK? Who are those people in the UK, demographically speaking, and how is Binance planning to reach those people specifically?
Sure. So there's been a lot of studies recently in the last couple of months looking at consumer behavior around crypto. And probably the most recent was issued by the FCA about a week ago now, looking specifically at UK appetite. So, how many people have heard about crypto? How many people have bought crypto? How many people currently own crypto today? And, whilst the numbers are still, smallish, the growth is pretty exponential. We're talking about, multiples of percentage points between where we were a year ago and where we are today. So I might get these stats a little wrong. So, I apologize to you and your viewers if I do. But it was something like, 32% of people in the UK last year had heard about crypto. And now it's like 75%. the amount of people who've purchased crypto or who own crypto has grown by around 1.1 million people in the UK. So, the UK has 60 million people. It's quite a lot of new users. We're now knocking on the door of 3 million, crypto participants in the UK, which is significant growth. I think one of the things that often holds people back is an easy way to understand what crypto assets are, what they're used for, how you can transact with them, how you can participate in capital raising with projects that, might be using a token to do that, or, using a token for gas, for example. Crypto can be quite overwhelming. So one of the things we're going to try to do is to really break down that education process, which Binance already does very well. Binance Academy is a learning portal that has all kinds of educational information, from what is Bitcoin to, advanced trading strategies. So it really kind of spans the breadth. But again, working directly with the community, we'll be doing a lot of kind of pulse surveys, hopefully, soon, more in-person live events. We'll be doing lots of, Ask Me Anything sessions and online webinars, especially during this kind of COVID period, to engage with the community, to really find out where the information gaps are. I think the other area that we've seen a significant amount of growth and is an untapped customer base, in my opinion, is women. Cointelegraph did a survey a couple of months ago and published their findings around the growth in crypto asset participation by women. And, the space, much like finance in general, has been pretty dominated by male participants. And when we're looking at, our marketing efforts and our education efforts, I'm personally taking a vested interest in ensuring that the mediums that we communicate information and the opportunities to get involved and learn more may be varied. So we'll still do, pizza and beer, of course, but there might be other opportunities or other mechanisms to get in touch with different types of participants, in particular women, who might not necessarily feel as confident showing up to a meetup and having pizza and beer.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, this is obviously a big issue in the cryptocurrency space, simply from a financial business standpoint, that, essentially 50% of the market is sort of neglected.
Women.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, but, I think that when, the age demographics are also changing a little bit within crypto assets. And so they're getting, a little bit older. And, when you get into, the mid-30s category, especially women in their 30s, oftentimes, women are the ones that are responsible for their family's finances.
Yeah.
And so, they're making decisions about where, potential investment opportunities are going to go. And so if we're not even addressing that market, to me, it seems like we're kind of leaving some people out of the loop.
Absolutely. So I just want to ask you briefly about that. There's been sort of this meme of, if you want to make something that's for women, that you put a pink bow on it and, suddenly it's, yeah. Exactly. I love that face. So you mentioned
not a big fan of the pink washing.
No. Forget about it. But yeah, but I'm curious, sort of from your point of view, what is the key to getting women into crypto? Is it about, sort of incentivizing them financially? Is it simply creating different spaces, different kinds of meetups? What are your thoughts on that?
I think that there is a communication difference.
Okay.
Just men and women communicate differently. We're different. So some of the classic routes to sharing information. So for instance, a very, rowdy Telegram group So you mentioned memes. So memes are flying at you. All of this kind of inside jargon is flying at you. Sometimes they can be a bit incendiary, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you are trying to learn about crypto and you find yourself in one of these Telegram groups, one, it's a bit overwhelming. Two, there's not a lot of people that look like you, right? And so there are a number of communities that I am part of that, just pop up all over the place on a variety of different channels that, are either started by women or designed by women to share this knowledge amongst other women. And I think that as the space starts to mature and we're now talking more about use cases and we're putting in place additional tools on top of the crypto asset infrastructure. So for example, cards which are linked to a crypto wallet enable you to spend your crypto via a card, right? So you're removing the friction that existed a few years ago where it was quite difficult to transact with crypto and quite difficult to buy it and send it to somebody else. It's not super easy, right? And so just like in the banking space where we kind of strip away all that friction, and you have challenger banks that are completely digital today. You don't actually have to talk to a person. All your queries are handled on chat. The KYC process is automated and streamlined. So if we can apply some of those lessons learned from the finance sector into the crypto sector and just make the whole space more accessible, I think you'll get greater participation. And if you are not a, crypto nerd like me, it's a bit of a geek community, right?
Absolutely.
And so how do you mainstream that? And I think it is kind of putting it into context for people in environments that they feel comfortable in. So, not to pink wash it. It's not like, Binance UK is going to, although maybe we should, host like a spa day, right? Everybody comes and gets, a massage.
Oh my, yeah.
So, I mean, that to me feels like very pink washing, right? But, we're not going to have Binance pink hoodies. We're not going to, I don't think we need to, it's not a matter of girlifying, crypto. It is just a matter of, and we should do this for everyone. And I just think it will make it more accessible to women if we make it more accessible in general, and it's not seen as kind of this, math geek community.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely. So I want to switch gears a little bit. Thank you for all your insight with this inclusiveness. It's really, really exciting stuff. But I want to ask you about Binance's decision to sort of push its efforts in the UK now at this particular moment in time. Why now?
So I think a couple of reasons. The regulatory perimeter in Europe and the UK specifically has become a little bit clearer. So, it's easier to understand what the rules are and what the requirements are. And previously, if your business wasn't, UK native, there was maybe less incentive to kind of set up shop in jurisdictions, not just the UK, but, across Europe, across the world, where the regulatory clarity was lacking, right? So you don't want to come into a jurisdiction, start building, and then find out it's just going to be hard, right? So I think with the implementation of AMLD5, it really set, a bit of a level playing field across Europe around, how we need to adhere with that directive that was really across the region. And we're starting to see jurisdictions develop, bespoke regulatory regimes for crypto assets. That's helped and created more certainty around building something in particular jurisdictions. So, the UK specifically historically has a very rich legacy of innovation. It's one of the world's great innovation hubs. It has, a progressive regulator that, has put in place things like sandboxes and an innovate team whose, sole job it is to engage with the industry and learn and iterate together. Not a lot of jurisdictions have those tools in place. But we also have a consumer base, which is quite digitally native already. So, our challenger bank, I've talked a lot about them in this talk so far, but they've really kind of set the pace for frictionless transacting and being able to invest and save and do things in a more digital first way. So, I think that this market already has a very warm, crypto friendly base. And to be able to extend, the Binance services into the space in a really considered and specific way, I think could be really beneficial for the UK.
Absolutely. So has sort of the attitude towards expansion, entering this market, can you speak a little bit about the specific ways in which, expansion in the UK for Binance has been different than expansion in the APAC region, for example?
Sure. Yeah. So we go into different markets, kind of again based on assessing the market share opportunity, obviously, and what that market is interested in participating in, right? So again, the UK is one of the financial centers of the world, right? It's the largest FX market in the world. Yeah. So there is a richness of people that are minded to get involved in investing and trading already. When you look at some of the Asian markets, again, people kind of lump Asia into one thing. Right. Asia's quite different, right? So within those markets, Binance has taken a different approach, and I think that whilst Binance, as a entity, operates a global trading platform, we do have in place kind of a local market engagement strategies around, how we engage the community, how we get them involved, and how we respond to, again, what those new features and services should be. And so those iterations on our product offering are influenced by different parts of the world wanting different things. And I think specifically in the UK, we have really heard the need for a simple, safe access point into the market that has good, fiat banking channels, right? So that, you can onboard and offboard seamlessly, but with fees that are reasonable. And so, those things, putting those three things together is not, super easy, right? And we feel like we've managed to crack that. And different markets across the world will have different drivers for why we came to market in that way.
Okay, so can you speak a little bit about the particular challenges that have been associated with coming into the UK?
Sure. So again, I've only been here for a few months.
Yes.
And to be honest, it has been, I don't want to say easy, but the plan to move into the UK was, very well formulated.
Absolutely.
And, bringing me on board, I think was
a smart move on Binance's part. Yeah.
Well, that remains to be seen, Rachel. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
But it certainly demonstrated that Binance had a really good understanding about what was going to make this particular local exchange work, right?
Okay.
So in partnership and fully compliant with regulation, really engaging with the community and spending a lot of time understanding what our users want and need. Those are two things that I'd done previously, quite a lot of, and I think relatively well, building a community, especially through GDF and the regulatory work there. But also being able to, kind of ensure that our market sizing has been done, that we understand who the customer is, that the customer comes along with us on this journey, and so that real kind of collaborative approach. So those are the goals and intentions. The challenges in putting that all in place, I think, are more around ensuring that we get it as right as we can the first time, right? And so anytime you're building something new, there's trade-offs, right? So, I have, a huge list of things I would love to be able to do, day one. And, I have to kind of rein in my own excitement to say, okay, what can I do well on day one?
Right.
And really get that right. And then start building upon success. So I think, if anything, the challenges are more kind of curbing my own enthusiasm and appetite to kind of do it all, and coming to market in a really considered way that is value additive and then continues to build on that value.
So speaking about this enthusiasm for the future, 5-10 years down the road, in your ideal world, what would Binance's presence in the UK look like?
Well, I mean, again, I would love for us to be the exchange of choice for UK users. I hope that I have a strong belief that we can be, and I think that really stems from, again, our user centricity. We're really, really focused on the user, and in previous roles, back in my traditional banking days, we used to talk about, being customer centric. And, you look back on that now and, banks are just not good at that. And some of it is that they can't be as good at it as they'd like to be, because they're working with legacy systems, they're great big organizations, they have regulatory restrictions that, prevent them sometimes from doing the cool thing. And so I think for crypto specifically, we have a chance to build something, from its genesis. And that's what we have been doing. With all the bumps along the road along the way, I really believe in this space. I think that long term, we have the ability to offer people financial access that they don't have today, or to improve on that, and to give really people more choices around building and creating wealth. And having kind of, sovereign money, or choices around, sovereignty when it comes to how they interact with money and transact with other people. So that long-term view, coupled with Binance's track record of wanting to create an ecosystem that really enables that growth, right? And that, stems kind of across the board. Binance has the charity arm. Binance has an accelerator. Binance has, an educational platform. So they're committed to, building an entire ecosystem to support the growth of crypto assets. And I think that's really important for sustainability and long-term growth. But equally, Binance has demonstrated over the last 3 years an incredible, exceptional ability to build things that work well, fast,
Yeah.
and scale them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, there's been nothing that has indicated to me that that culture and that approach is going to change. We'll continue to build things well and at pace. And if we can do that whilst keeping, fees and access fair and reasonable, then I think there's only one direction, number go up.
Sweet. Teana, I want to thank you so much for your time today. And before we go, can you tell our listeners a little bit about where they might be able to find out more about you or about what Binance is doing in the UK?
Yeah, sure. So we are taking your details now. If you're interested to learn more about the UK exchange at binance.uk, send us your details there, and you'll go into a list of, hoodie giveaways and updates and all kinds of good stuff. If you'd like to learn more about Binance, obviously, binance.com. Our Binance UK Twitter is at Binance UK, or you can find me on Twitter at Teana Taylor.
Thank you so much, Teana.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me, Rachel.